Hey guys, quick update on AB 2216. If you haven't heard about this, this is a proposed California law that would require landlords to accept pets in their rentals. And not only that, but you would not be able to charge a pet rent or a pet deposit, and you couldn't even ask about a pet on an application until after they're approved, and would need reasonable justification for denying a pet. And so where this bill is at, a lot of people are curious, is I guess, according to my source, the bill has been with the legislatures. It got out of committee on Tuesday, but several members directed the author to amend the bill before it goes up for a vote. The deposit and pet rent issue was raised. We haven't seen those amended yet. And then once we do, I'll give you guys an update and the bill will go to the floor for a vote. Will likely be passed. We can hopefully hope for the best. I'll have more on this and share my thoughts and how this is bad for everybody, even though I'm a pet lover. And let's not forget, the reason people charge a pet rent or a pet deposit is because statistically, pets do cause more damage than no pets. And so they need to be compensated for that extra risk or have a security deposit that's higher to help compensate for that extra damage. Now, Matt Haney, the author of 2216, who also, I think late last year, passed AB 12, which limited security deposits to 1 month's rent, already reduced what someone can charge for a deposit. And so they might argue, oh, well, if it goes above the deposit, then you can sue them in small claims court. It's like, have you been to small claims court recently? Even if you get a judgment, it doesn't do anything. So why are you hurting good people, Mr. Matt Haney? Landlords that don't want their homes destroyed should have the right to say no to pets, unless it's a service animal or an emotional support animal. And the landlords that are open to pets, like a lot of our clients, should get rewarded by having great tenants with great pets, like we do. All right, I'm going to preface this AB 2216 rant that I am a pet lover, and we at Good Life encourage owners to allow pets. We have a good pet guarantee, and we screen pets, and we love pets. However, being forced to allow pets in your rental is just another property right being taken away potentially from landlords, limiting their right. The reason people don't allow pets is, number one, they cause damage a lot of times, sometimes, not every time, but they do. And people don't want to rent their house if they're gonna be forced to allow pets. So it's gonna limit the supply of housing on the market. And so I just want to point out one thing in this article. Matt Haney from San Francisco says 12 million people across the state are being denied access to housing because they have a companion pet. So basically the argument is there's not enough housing that allows pets. That's a really bad argument. That's like saying, hey, 12 million people are bad tenants, and so we have to allow all bad tenants. And I'm not saying these tenants with pets are bad, of course, but what I'm saying is because someone has a pet, we need to allow them. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's not your property, Mr. Matt Haney, with all due respect. And by the way, if you see smoke, I'm burning incense because I need a seance right now after, going over this article. But basically, what's coming next is saying, hey, there's 10 million people with a FICO score below 600. Most people get denied for rental. So you can't screen tenants anymore because they're okay with hurting good landlords who are actually the heroes, who are actually providing housing for people. But it doesn't affect them. So they're just going to force all these restrictions on landlords who are actually getting beat up and are going to be not renting their property much more after this. And so to say that because people have pets, and then they go on to say that pets are filling up the shelters. I'm so have a warm heart for pets not being in shelters, put money towards causes like that, care deeply about that. But that's like the tail wagging the dog. That's like saying, okay, because people adopt pets, that now we have to change the law to make sure everyone's allowed to have a pet in a rental property that they don't own. It actually makes no sense at all. The article goes on to say that household pets are an integral part of our families. Agreed. But then it says housing is a fundamental right that should not be limited because tenants are forced to choose between keeping their pets or a roof over their head. First off, if a pet's that big of family member, they're going to figure out a way. There are people that allow pets, and those people will profit because of the free market. And then also by saying housing is a fundamental right, it's like, okay, well, agreed in the sense that everyone should have a house, but where's the right coming from? The federal government? And who's paying for that? And no, we have a capitalist economy where actually private owners, private landlords have property rights, and property rights are quickly being eroded every day, which actually have value. And so now to not only say you must allow pets, but now you can't charge a pet rent or a pet deposit is maybe like good news for some people, but it's going to hurt a lot of good people, which are good landlords that have properties that now aren't going to rent them out because now they're going to be scared off. I work with a lot of these landlords and they do not want to rent to people with pets sometimes, but a lot do. So let the free market handle this. The last thing I'll quote, it says, the lack of pet-friendly housing is causing more than 800,000 tenants to have pets in their units without the knowledge of the landlord. I am for more pet-friendly housing. That's one of the competitive advantages we have at Good Life is we really encourage our owners to allow pets because we screen them well, we manage the property well, and they will do better. But people that don't want to have pets should have that right to not allow pets. If someone has a service animal, that's always allowed. If someone needs an emotional support animal, that's always allowed. But we need to remember that the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the bedrock of our American democracy was built on property rights and liberty. And liberty is the freedom from liberty is the freedom from excessive restrictions. And these are, by definition, excessive restrictions to now have to allow a pet in a property that is overregulation and, again, gonna make the housing crisis worse. Less rentals, higher rents, they're coming. I hope people will not pass this law, AB 2216. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to hear it from pet owners. I know that a lot of people want to be able to have their pet approved, and I feel you, but I think the long game makes more sense to err on the side of property rights and freedom to do with your property like you wish. Because what's going to be next is people are just going to say, all right, well, then I'm not going to rent my property out. And then what's going to be the next law? You must rent your property out for at least 1 year. You know what I mean? It just gets sillier and sillier day by day. That's my rant. I'm burning incense. I'm trying to chill out. I appreciate y'all.